My name is Mark Angelini and I live in Michigan. I'm 24 years old and I'm a self-taught permaculture and ecological designer. Permaculture design is a design methodology that looks to nature for patterns and pathways in designing and developing human ecosystems, from food to shelter to economies and business models. Michigan's always been a huge fruit growing region and historically was a large producer of apples and other tree fruits. Close to 100 years ago, every community grew and processed apples as part of its economy. Over the past few years, I've been tapping back into this tradition of maintaining and harvesting and pressing apples into juice, which is then fermented into cider, and looking at all aspects of orchard management and integration of perennial crops. Been looking at the heritage of perennial crops as a sort of hub that all other forms of culture and agriculture revolve around, and re-enlivening this culture of managing and maintaining tree crops and begin to grow yet again a form of human existence that's based on the propagation and growing of real things that aren't ephemeral and can be passed on from generation to generation. And just for the sheer fact of the enjoyment that's involved in taking part in this process of tending these tree crops and stewarding something that lasts a very long time. There's this narrative of progress that permeates the dominant cultures in industrial societies that says that humans are endowed some glorious future, that we are granted from the cosmos this trajectory towards a greater and greater existence, whether it be more throughput of materials and higher forms of technology and longer lives and lower death rates and so on and so forth. And this narrative facilitates a sort of apathy in humans that leads to the degeneration not only of our physical health, but the health of our cultures, our communities, of our own spirit even, that it sort of undermines those very basic things that give us value as human beings. One of my main interests is in exploring ways of developing livelihood and community and culture that are decentralized and are able to use less and less non-renewable resources to get the basic job done. And really analyzing the future resource base for humanity in a world where there's decreasing access and availability to non-renewable resources, increasingly fragmented and disrupted ecosystems, and the inevitable decline of industrial civilization. I've been learning about livestock management for homesteads and farms and their role in managing certain aspects of a system, from pest management to the restoration of fertility and productivity of a landscape. I've been working mainly with poultry, in particular chickens and turkeys and ducks, harvesting their eggs and also slaughtering them for meat and nutrient-dense stocks. In my work, we focus on how individuals and people who have seemingly small effects on the greater reality of the planet can make small changes in their daily habits, in their land use patterns, in the way that they eat, to contribute to an ongoing exploration of how to live with less resources without traveling as much to accomplish the things we need to make a healthy living, by providing our own food and medicine and taking care of the watershed and the local ecosystems in a way that starts in every daily activity, from mundane activities such as how we handle the rainwater that falls on our land or in our community, how we
steward seeds and propagate genetic diversity in our gardens and on our landscapes, or even in our towns and villages.
I've been focusing on craft in the forms of what's called sloyd and natural building. Sloyd is a Swedish term that refers to handicraft, or the creation of things without buying them, being able to make the things that you need to get the job done. Up until now, my primary focus has been on carving spoons and working with green woodworking. And green woodworking is a form of woodworking that uses living wood that's been freshly cut from a tree. The real beauty to green woodworking is that it utilizes what would be otherwise considered marginal pieces of wood. These are pieces of wood that would, in the lumber or forestry trade, be discarded as not useful or not of economic value. So through this process, I've been really interested in revitalizing this idea and activity of craft, or as some people call it, made versus manufactured, and really looking passionately at the idea of making things of value. Not necessarily the same as art, where we're making things for the sake of expression and beauty, but making things that have enduring value and also consequently enduring aesthetic and beauty within them. And the spoon is such a simple tool that, due to mass manufacture of alloyed spoons, metal spoons, we seem to have forgotten how important that tool is at least 3 times a day in conveying food to our mouths. So I focused primarily on carving spoons as a way of reconnecting to this appreciation of the small things in life, and really getting stuck into all of the different forms and styles, creating a functional spoon that is beautiful but also gets the job done very efficiently. My work focuses primarily on developing and sort of prototyping alternative narratives to the myth of progress, or the narrative of progress, that are more fulfilling and give individuals a greater sense of well-being and purpose. And this narrative focuses primarily on those very things that connect us to this world as humans. I see nature as the ultimate source of meaning and value, and I look to the natural world for guidance as to what are the most adaptable and fulfilling ways to live. For the past number of years, I've been working on various different natural building techniques and projects, from cob and earthen structures to straw bale building to earth bag building to timber framing. Most recently, I've been excited by and working on round pole timber framing projects, working with earthen materials to make earthen plasters and cob ovens. And I've been learning through these crafts that there's this sort of remembering that occurs when we work with our hands and materials that are available right at our feet and within our own forests, that connect us to these ancient traditions, that we've always done this as humans, that we've always worked with our surroundings to create the things that we need to make our lives fulfilling, and in some cases even just bearable, to put a roof over our head or to cook some food. And it's a very rewarding process to work with one's hands and to get very creative with the materials that you have on site.
So it seems that some of the most powerful things that humans can do right now is to reconnect to those very basic things that make us human, through our food, our shelter, and through our forms of community and camaraderie that we all share as humans. Videnda.
Let me hear you say it. Yo, what's up? Superly highly syncopated music.
Let's face the music.
Yo, what's up?
Superly highly syncopated music.
Let me hear you say it. Yo, what's up?
Superly highly syncopated music.
Let's face the music.
Yo, what's up?
Superly highly syncopated music.
Let me hear you say it. Yo, what's up?
You can apply it in a positive sense, and you can apply it in a negative sense.
Let me hear you say it.
Positive sense, negative sense.